Following our wedding in February 1964 and our subsequent rather short honeymoon in the West Country, it was back to work, albeit now as a married couple. We both worked at the same company in Luton, Newport Chemicals. We couldn't afford to buy a house, but luckily I managed to get a company flat, number 7 Dunstable Court, Dunstable Road, Luton, only 5 minutes walk from work. This 2-bedroom first floor flat was conveniently situated on a good bus route for either Luton or Dunstable, and within walking distance of Bury Park and the main shopping centre. The flat was unfurnished and needed basic decorating, which we did ourselves before moving in. The kitchen was small, and once we had installed a cooker, kitchen table and a couple of chairs was pretty much filled. We furnished the lounge with what in those days was trendy Scandinavian G-plan lounge suite and a matching coffee table. So after a bit of work, the ground floor flat provided became our comfortable first home, despite the fact that we had very little money. Our biggest problem was keeping the 2 coal bins outside the back door filled. Towards the end of every month, the coal seemed to run out, and we shivered. Our first child, Amanda, was born in the flat in 1965. In those days, you didn't go to hospital, and Mandy was delivered at home by a midwife, with Maureen's mother helping her. A delivery pack was brought by the midwife to the home 2 weeks before the baby was expected. The midwife also had her hold-all, which was much bigger than the ordinary nurse's bag, because it had to carry so much sterilised equipment. In those days, fathers were never allowed to be present, and I was banished to pace up and down the hall and smoke cigarettes. Our second child, Neil, was born in 1967 at the Luton and Dunstable Hospital. He also should have been born at home, but there were problems early in Maureen's pregnancy, as she suffered from placenta previa, which results in bleeding and the inherent risk of hemorrhaging. As it was serious, Maureen was admitted to the hospital for bed rest for several weeks, just as well as she needed an emergency blood transfusion before having a caesarean delivery. Neil was born 6 weeks early and was kept in an incubator under constant watch until he was able to survive on his own. We were struggling to save money for a deposit on our house, particularly as Maureen was no longer working, and I took extra jobs as a barman at the Leicester Arms pub and as a general labourer on the building site of what was to become our new house. In February 1968, we moved into number 49 Allen Close, Dunstable, a semi-detached built on a small private estate at the foot of the Downs, costing the princely sum of £4,750. Although we now had our own place, financially with 2 children, life was a struggle. We were the only house on the estate without a car. Shortly after moving in, the company I worked for announced that they were relocating to the north of England, and it was while I was searching for another position locally that I came across an advert for a chemical analyst on contract in the Zambian copper mines, applied and was successful. The job paid very well, and we were hoping that this would allow us to save sufficient money to allow us to return to England in a financially sound position. Such a move, though common today, was considered really adventurous at the time. So we sold our new house, a decision that was to later prove to be a financial error, put most of our furniture in store, bought a new car with the proceeds of the house sale, and started out a new life in Africa. We set sail in the Edinburgh Castle, bound for South Africa on the 14th of November 1969, with our new car safely stowed away in the hold. After a 14-day voyage, including crossing the equator, we landed in Cape Town, eager to set off on the start of our 3,700-kilometre journey to Kitwe on the Zambian copper belt. This journey gave us our first taste of Africa, including elephants in the road and the majestic Victoria Falls, finally ending in Kitwe with the sight of the glowing slag dumps. We were initially given transit accommodation whilst waiting to be allocated a permanent house. We didn't stay long in the flats and were soon allocated a mine house at 31 Princess Street, close to the town centre. It was a modest house by Copperbelt standards, but for us it was huge, although short on fixtures. Socially, things were very good, as we lived in a community where almost everyone worked at the mine, was of our age group and had young families, and we made many friends during our stay. Work-wise, things went well, and over the years I was promoted several times, ending up as chief chemist, which had the added benefit of a better house at 179 Zebra Street. David Jonathan Martin was born in the Nkana Mine Hospital, Kitwe, on Thursday the 21st of December 1972. Maureen had been out shopping in the morning when her labour started, went into hospital after lunch and had David in the evening. According to her, David was a very easy birth. Vanessa Kirsten was also born in the Nkana Mine Hospital on Sunday the 6th of April 1975. She was only 1 year old when the family left Zambia and returned to the UK, pending their next move to South Africa.